Right? You know, that's because it's 6 o'clock. It's Wednesday night. It's Real Unfiltered Talk. I'm James Bryant alongside, yes, we have another guest this week. We're so popular I can't even stand it.
Yeah, it's...
Everybody don't have to adjust your screens or look at nothing's weird. You got his haircut. It's okay.
I did. I got a trim. Yep.
You got that little Hitler part there. Kind of like it. It's all right.
I don't know about the Hitler
part. The two-time world bass angler champion on the waiting list in the Pro Bass Fishing Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's not mean.
Well,
just you're there. You're there. Mr. Dion Hibden, extraordinaire. How you doing, D?
I'm doing wonderful.
You know, Dion called tonight and said, hey, you know, we still on for tonight? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We even have a guest and everything. And I'm signed out. Let's sign back in. Huh. Anyway, I
broke it already.
Nah, it's all good. We're still there. There you go. Yeah, we're still alive. He says, well, you know, I'm deer hunting tonight. And I'm like, so? You've been deer hunting for like 3 months. You haven't got nothing.
That's right.
Suck.
I have been deer hunting a lot.
Yeah. I have so much to talk about, I can't even get into deer hunting tonight.
Get started. Let's go.
Did you see what happened Tuesday down at the Gravois ramp? The Angry Pirate Tournament?
No. Was it good?
Got standings. Want to see?
Sure.
So it's growing.
Yeah.
And I told...
been having 18, 19 boats.
Did again, and I told Cap, said, you know, I said, I think we're both feeling good enough. It's almost time. How close are you?
I'm not far off at
See,
all.
I know, right? You gotta show him again.
Minute.
Third place, Adam Bowling. Third place, 2040.
Holy crap! I
Second
did not
place,
hear that.
Luke DeMeyer and Messina, 2059.
Huh.
And the winner was Andy Newcomb and Big Fish, 2264.
Wow.
So if you guys follow all the news out there, being the upper end and the lower end, apparently the fish are biting pretty good.
It's happening. Yeah.
I'd say A-rig.
I'm gonna say A-rig too.
So in the middle,
just because I heard about the one boy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be. In the middle tonight, it's kind of like you know the Five. You ever seen the Five on Fox?
Yeah.
They always have like 4 chicks and a dude. Or 4 dudes and a chick.
I don't know where he's going with that.
I don't know. It doesn't sound good.
In the middle, the odd guy out. No, we actually brought the law in tonight. Not the law, but good friend of ours. Welcome to the show. Andrew Renken is our local attorney and fisherman extraordinaire. Thanks for coming.
I'm heavy on the attorney part. I don't know about the extraordinaire, but
good fisherman.
Crappie catcher extraordinaire.
Yeah, and here's the problem we always have. We always go into. I always do some research on career earnings.
Sure.
Because you have fished professionally. Unfortunately, in the crappie world, you have.
Okay.
You don't think so?
Your dad?
I've cashed checks.
What do you think your career earnings in the crappie world since inception?
Do you have statistics?
I don't.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking.
He's guessing.
I'm gonna guess here. I'm gonna write down on my hand here. This is what I think you've earned. Okay, wrote it down. Got it. So yeah, I'm not making it up.
About $4,000.
I wrote down 3,000.
Okay.
Wow,
not bad.
Close.
Now, got to remember in crappie fishing, that's like winning $100,000.
Yeah, that's big money.
In the bass world, that's big money. So good job there. Fish crappie masters most of the time.
Yes.
Before the show, Dion, I told Andrew, I said, you know what? We are actually, Andrew and I, and we had a couple other guys, we were pioneers in fishing tournaments, starting a business that we started way too soon. And nobody really knows about this. If you go back, I think the website's all down, but we started a company called the Super Slab Series. And it was a crappie fishing tournament trail that was, now listen to this, this was kind of a big deal. And it was what, I
think it was about 2012, 2013.
2012, 2013, we started this deal. We traveled all over the country. And we had this concept for crappie fishermen that every 2 hours you could catch one big crappie and bring it back in and weigh it. And we would pay like the top 20 overall. Really cool idea, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Big Bass Bash and crappie. We were like super pumped about it. One big problem, in 2012 and 2013, fishermen didn't have a boat that the crappie guys, they're generally over 50 horsepower, and they all spider rigged. So it took them an hour to pack up their crap and get back to weigh in. So it was like the business model just didn't quite fit it.
And on the water fuel prices hit $5 a gallon.
That also happened. Yeah, so we had this really cool idea, and we got rid of it. But
timing was just off.
They're doing it now. And Andrew, before the show, asked about the Big Bass Bash guys did it last year, first time here at Lake of the Ozarks, and I said, actually it was successful. I think they had, I can't remember, 300 to 500 anglers somewhere in there, but did well.
Yeah.
It'll be big this year. So yeah,
It should be. I think they considered it a success last year. I mean, everybody was excited about it.
Yep.
So, a little more word of mouth, and everybody talked about it, and it'll probably be twice that this year.
Probably, but I just want to say that we started it in the crappie side.
There
We
you
were
go.
pioneers.
We were pioneers, and we just didn't follow through. So I don't know. Do you still have your scale?
No,
You sell it?
I sold it to Andy Caps.
Did you? That's right.
That's
Yeah, I
what-
remember that.
Angry Pirates using the super slabs scales.
There we go. I still have a set too.
Do you?
I do. Cool thing was when we went, because if you have, and I always wondered about the Big Bass Bash guys and how they do it, but because I've never really inquired, I don't really care anymore. But we went and had all of our scales state certified.
Oh,
So we had the state come in, weight and measures, and we certified each scale so that if you weighed at different locations, you knew at least the scales were all accurate. It was kind of a neat deal.
yeah.
Because if you've never done that, it's pretty intense. They put a weight on there and they put like a 1 ounce weight on there and they go, that'll do, and they
Yeah.
give you a sticker. So yeah, that was it. So yeah,
Use what?
They used to use butter.
butter,
A cube of butter.
a stick of butter, or a cube of butter. He said a cube of butter.
Are you guys
Cube of
making this
butter.
stuff up?
No, I'm not.
What the hell is a
I
cube of
realize
butter?
you're the tech guys.
Sell red onions and to sell to
Is a half a stick of butter a cube?
long ago. But they come
Just
out, the stick would come out. And they
A
put
cube.
cube
There we
butter,
go.
and that's how they.
And that's why we. Who let him back up in the front row?
You.
I did. You're right. You're
It's only
right.
his second show back, and he's already saying stuff.
So, as we always have to do stories, okay? So, Stella used to call you after your mom, Stella, she used to call after the show, and she would always give us crap over what
Yes.
we did wrong, what we did right, whatever.
Yeah.
And I have a story that I had forgotten about that made me laugh out loud today when my mom called me on the phone.
Your
And-
mom called?
Oh, my mom called me, yeah.
Oh.
And she's like, hey, what? What about you?
Cube of butter.
Oh my God, it's still on the cube of butter thing. So my mom called me today and she's like, hey, is Andrew going to be on the show? And I said, yeah. She goes, do you remember when we were all on the road and your dad, who was on the show a couple weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
I know where this is going.
State name.
was it state names or was it the alphabet? It was the alphabet. See, I have Robert Honeys who travels all Super Slab series. He's here tonight.
And it was in an
So-
Arby's.
So we were sitting in an Arby's, and we had an argument over how many letters are in the alphabet.
Yeah.
Okay? And my dad said, there's 25. You remember that?
I do.
Now, just
I do.
because I'm a dumbass, there's 26 letters, right?
As a rule.
Right, as a rule, there's 26. Dad said there's 25. And we argued and argued and argued over it. And you remember what his response was?
I forget which letter it is, but he said one of them doesn't count.
He said Q doesn't count.
Q doesn't count.
There's 25 and Q doesn't count. That's what he said. And that was his way of covering up. So it was freaking funny. Funny stuff. Do you,
Somewhere-
do you remember that there, Pops? Yeah. I thought
somewhere in Tennessee.
he was high.
Yeah.
He was doing something.
It might have been because you were in Tennessee.
That's,
Might
Q
have
doesn't
been.
count Tennessee or something. I mean, I
Hey, you
don't
think
know.
about it. In fishing, I don't know if Q counts or not. But yeah, Q didn't count. Then we got into a whole states thing, but that was,
we were on our way to Weiss Lake.
we were going to Weiss Lake, Alabama. That's
Going to
right.
Weiss Lake,
That's
Alabama.
right. We had to stop and eat at an Arby's.
Had
There
to be
was-
an Arby's.
That's where the cube.
Who had the obsession with Arby's back then? Was it you?
It was me. Yeah.
It was you. Yes.
You only know that a town is worth stopping at if they have.
If they have an Arby's, that was the rule. Yep,
Yeah.
that's
There you
right. So we did that. Andrew also, you could always find him out in the water because he had this big ass 20-foot Stratus with a giant Yamaha on it, and you could find him everywhere. And you know what? He got rid of it, got to a metal boat, and then here's a trivia question. He acquired the greatest Ranger boat ever made. Here comes the conversation. What did he buy?
This came from an
just a guess.
insight that came from you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the best Ranger boat that was ever built?
The skunk
No, a model.
model?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a...
And you're wrong, so go ahead.
Just the straight 520?
There you go, buddy. Ding, ding, ding.
Was I right?
Yep.
Oh,
Got him.
there you
He
go.
got him. Was it 02?
04
04. 520 dual console. Is it Yamaha?
with a Yamaha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really, really cool. So I was
There you
excited
go.
about that.
I think it was a camera boat or something.
Was it?
'Cause it
FLW?
It has all the inside graphics on it. Up
I don't-
on the bow. It has all the Ranger logos and stuff on the inside.
It could have. That could have been a pro staff boat that was
Okay.
wrapped,
Yeah.
and then they peeled the wrap off and still had the inside logos.
Yeah.
Don't you know how to title search that stuff, lawyer?
No.
I think you can find previous owners and all that good stuff. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he's 520 guy, and Andrew taught me how to fish crappie with a special piece of tackle I had never done before.
One of the cheapest pieces of tackle you can ever use.
Tell you
Ah.
what, changed my life from fishing forever. No, it's not. Do you know?
Minnow?
No. God, the only people that use minnows are women and children.
Well, I agree.
That's it.
Did it have to do with the bobber?
Yes.
Okay.
Weighted bobber. Andrew taught me how to use that. Never used one before.
Really?
Really?
That's the only way to
True.
use a bobber.
I didn't know. But
Yeah.
Andrew has technique. You want to share?
If you fished a weighted bobber for crappie, you know what you're doing. I don't want to spill it, but yeah,
He's got to have a little rhythm. He likes to sing a song to it, pick out a good
Oh.
you
good
gotta
tune.
have a
Make it twitch?
yeah.
I'd always like shake your booty.
Yeah.
Shake, 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 ba-dun-dun-dun-dun, shake, 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 ba-dun-dun, shake your crappie. Boom, there it is. Now, did I ever tell you about going to Clear Lake, California? Going crappie fishing out there? Have you ever heard the story?
I don't know.
So
Is
fast
this-
forward, that was in probably
Is
2012.
this your ACT days?
Nope, this was Wild West Bass Trails. Yep, pre-ACT. But
Okay.
yep, so we go out to California. We go to Clear Lake. I get a phone call from my boss, and he says, "Hey, grab a reel, grab some crappie tackle, throw it in your carry-on, and bring it." He said they are smashing crappie in Clear Lake, and they're all 2-pound minimum.
Oh.
And I'm like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, and those are the males." And I'm like, "No, really?" He's like, "Dude, just grab it." And he said, I'm going to try to G-rate this down. Where we went fishing in Clear Lake was a very poverty-driven area, and those people, I shouldn't say those people, but the poor folk had to go and pay for like a piece of dock to fish on. Not pay lakes, but Indian reservations.
Oh,
So they would go in Indian, pay like $3 to use a ramp, and they sit in a 5-gallon bucket, and then couldn't get out to where the tule grass was and the really cool fishing. Tule grass is kind of like cattails, just so you can kind of get a visual without the cattails. Big, tall reed grass.
Reeds.
Yeah, thick, really thick. So we got there with, and if anybody's crappie fisherman, Kalen Grubb, Roadrunner, Bobby Garland, swimming minnow, and we're pitching to the edge of this grass, and we're catching 2 and 2 1/4, 2.5 pound male
Oh my gosh.
crappie, and they're monsters. I mean, they're monsters.
That's a
So
medium-sized fish.
yeah, so I reach into my box and I said, "You guys want to see something?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's see it." So I pull out a weighted bobber, and they're like, I can't even describe all the explicitives and the fun they made of me. That I was a girl fisherman, that only sissies use bobbers,
For a minute.
because I took it and I threw it over the tules into the backside where it splashed, and I went twitch, and it went whoo, and I caught close to a 3-pounder
Oh my
because they
gosh.
couldn't get to it. So I learned a lot that day, which they, after about 30, they said, "Got an extra bobber?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No."
How many
You got
bobbers
$100?
bring?
That was about what you said that day after I caught 5 or 6 and
It was awesome. We were in Buck Creek, and we were in a little creek cut, and it was awesome. I mean, it opened my eyes on how to, and for anybody, let's back up a little bit because we'll actually make this actually learn something from this. A weighted bobber, because we do have, just checking here, people that want to learn how to fish. A bobber's weighted on the bottom of the cork, and a round one is much better than a torpedo style one. Because if you get a round one, I want you to imagine if your lure is setting, like, let me kind of get it this way. If your lure is in the water, and you in one fixed spot over a brush pile, and you twitch your bobber, that bobber will rotate. When you pull it forward, it'll rotate and lift your bait up. And then when you put it back down, it'll drop right back in on the same spot. It said when you're casting, the bait's traveling through the water. If you're holding your rod tip up and swinging through the zone, but that one keeps it up and down in one zone, which is super awesome. Because especially if you set it the adjustment where it's above the brush pile, catch a lot of fish.
That's the biggest thing. It does.
It's pretty slick.
Whether it's 4 foot or
That's a weighted bobber.
That's a weighted bobber. Yep. It's worth the $1. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back at that time, they were a quarter.
Yeah. Now they're $1.
Yep.
Yeah.
split we didn't have we put split shot like bobber right down to it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. So he taught me how to use a weighted bobber, which I took all the way to California and schooled a bunch of Californians how to use to catch crappie on a bobber. But then they
Which made you
reschooled
feel
me.
extremely good about yourself.
But they reschooled me. Okay? So here's the next one, and I'll be really quick about it. We've all been spoiled in this group, our inner circle, because we all have Cajun-style fish fryers. I think you have one, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so they have indirect heat, so the sediment goes to the bottom and doesn't burn when you're cooking fish. And if anybody knows, go to Cajun Fish Fryer, take a look at it. Shameless plug, we do sell them. I do have 2 in stock right now. You can come get one. We'll talk about that later. But we went out to California. We literally filled the lids to the live well with these, which was not a lot, but they were all monsters. We're going to have fish fry. Nobody eats them out there. They're like trash fish. So we get back. My boss gets on the phone. He's like, hey, go to the hardware store, get a fish fryer, get an electric fillet knife, get some fish batter, and get 2 onions. And I'm like, all right. So he comes back, and he's got the Bass Pro style, like the turkey fryers you see that are just the aluminum pot with the base fryer underneath it and the open flame, okay? Which we all know. You scorch your fish if you're not careful.
Scorched grease.
Here is the coolest thing I've ever seen. He took an onion, a whole onion, and threw it in the grease. You ever seen that?
I've heard about it, yes.
I witnessed it. So what it does, it serves like a fish batter magnet. So the magnet, the onion goes to the very bottom, and all that sediment that goes down, it collects it. It sucks it up. And by the end of the night, when you're done cooking, the grease is still perfectly clean, and you've got this giant, brown, nasty gunk ball that onion has sucked up all that stuff. It was the coolest thing I ever seen.
Do you peel the onion? Or just
I
throw it in there?
don't remember if he did or not. I would say yes. I probably would take the skin off.
Yeah.
But he didn't cut it. It was whole, and
whole.
it split on its own with the heat, and then it sucked in all that stuff. It was the coolest damn thing I've ever seen.
Huh.
And if you don't want to comment on that, that was pretty awesome. That particular trip, there was 2 representatives from, I believe, Ranger and Evinrude, and I can't remember who it was, but it was California. It doesn't matter. And they came and they were watching us, and Gary Dobbins was there, and he was literally, those fish were so big, he was just taking the electric fillet knife and just cutting the rib cage off and throwing all the meat away. He was making these steaks. He was just like, I don't care, he's like zipping. And the bass guys, and I'm going to pick on California guys. They're kind of sissy, We're out there, we got these aluminum foil trays, and we're getting ready to eat. And it's like, you ever seen a stray dog that like they ease up and they're smelling, but they just like when they want to grab a piece and run real fast? That's kind of how these bass guys were. They're like looking at their hotel room and they're like, "What are you doing? What are you eating?" So I start talking to them, and eventually they all come in. The Ranger guys left. They said, "What are you guys doing?" "We're doing a fish fry." I said, "We'll be right back." They came back with Stella beer.
Okay.
And like Guinness and like all these high-end beers. Backed up Suburban, opened it up, and we were eating fish and drinking beer and having the best time on Clear Lake on the nastiest Indian reservation I've ever been to in my life. It was disgusting. Horrible. There were bloodstains in my room. It was like bad. Horrible bad. They're terrible. But anyway, that's all.
Reservation's tough life, yeah.
You've been to those, right?
I have,
Out there?
yes.
Like every third house, they're burned to the ground because they all got drunk and burned one down in a fight. I mean,
Or they got 16 rings around it.
yeah, it's,
Kind of like our neighbor.
and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, I'm not
Tires,
making fun of
tires
it.
on the roof.
You ever been to an
stuff
Indian reservation like that?
Not around here, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have any around here yet.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma. Yeah,
But they're pretty clean. Oklahoma ones are good.
this one was not clean, and they had at the boat ramp. There were 4 Native American Indians in lawn chairs drinking whiskey, and they all had car counters, and they were count every time they go down the ramp because everyone got a cut on how much money they brought in. So they were each group were validating the number of boats and trailers, so nobody was gonna screw anybody out of their
Yeah.
$10 boat fee ramp. So, you ever seen that? You You heard about it? Yeah, it's true story all the way.
All the reservations out there.
Crazy, right? That's my weighted bobber Indian reservation story.
Awesome.
It's pretty good, right? So there was that. Yeah, it was,
The reservation on Lake Sinclair in Detroit, you don't dare break the law in there.
no.
Because when they confiscate your stuff, they can confiscate your stuff. Not it's boat and all until you get it back through the court system. If you get convicted on the reservation of any violation.
Nice. It's not like South Africa that you can buy your way out either.
No.
I heard, not to get off in the weeds, but we always get off in the weeds. Do you know that if you hunt in South Africa and you kill somebody by accident, you just pay a fine.
Oh,
No joke.
well, there you go.
Have you ever heard that story? I had a guy, we all know the guy, I'm not going to mention names, Travis Bullock, but he went down there on a South African hunt, and he said that there was another, have you heard the story? Do you remember that?
I do remember, yeah.
So they have professional hunters and then trackers, and so the professional hunters say that's a Ginsball, it's $10,000, and that's an orangutan, that's $15,000, and that's you can shoot what you want. Well, apparently not his group he was in, but another group, the guy shot an animal, I guess maybe wounded it, and he was going for the kill shot, and the tracker ran out to finish him off, and when he drew down, he shot and killed the tracker. Okay? Total accident, but they immediately arrested him, obviously, an American in South Africa that shot a guy. And just remember two things very important before I go any further. I'd like to thank Basil Hayden that Ron took care of me of. And rule number 2, when I drink and we tell stories, it's up to you to decide what's true or not. Okay? And just go in there.
And if Travis Bullock is telling the story, there's a
This
good
may
chance
or
there
may
was
not.
drinking
So
involved.
I don't want this to stem out into people going, that's not even true. There's no way that's even possible. Maybe not. But it's a story I heard, and I'm going to share it. So, he shoots his tracker. They arrest him, and they go to court that day. Okay? Family is distraught, obviously. And they found him guilty, and he was ordered to pay restitution to the family for the rest of his average life. His fine was $800 because they don't pay any. The cost of living down there was, and so he was afraid that he was going to die in South Africa, and he ended up writing a check for $800, and the family was vindicated, justice had been served, and he got to continue his hunt.
Huh.
Now you guys can look and see if that's.
You just said the Ginsbuck was 10,000,
I started
Right.
to say, yeah.
and the orangutan was $8,000.
Well, I just threw that
but the
number
tracker
out.
was 800.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, you can't shoot people.
10 trackers for an
They
orangutan.
raise. Oh, yeah. That's kind of, and if there's been movies about that, if you actually had
You
to hunt
reckon that's
people.
why he's got that orangutan sitting at the bar stool in his
You
house?
didn't know that story?
Oh,
Did you hear that story?
Yeah, but
That particular orangutan that he
is
has.
that only because he couldn't get the tracker mounted,
No.
or what?
No. So Travis. We're going to have Travis on the show so he can tell because he will have him tell these stories much better than I can. They were out hunting, and this orangutan attacked one of the dogs. So the professional hunter said, whoever kills the orangutan, it's free. So he killed the orangutan, and he had it taxidermied holding a can of Busch Light sitting at his bar.
I've seen the orangutan. That's why I asked.
That's the story.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a big one. Mean one, he said. It was really mean. But he killed it.
There's the meaner
Yep.
critters over
Was
there.
it a baboon? It was a baboon, not an orangutan. It was a baboon. My bad. It was a baboon.
Yeah, they're killers.
Thank you. Now you decide to talk. Amanda comes on. She didn't come on the show and talk, but now she's going to talk over here. It's like, no,
Well, she knew you.
dumbasses.
She
it
knew
was a
you
baboon.
screwed up.
Possibly.
Somebody that off, take it down there and say, hey, we need my tractor.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll talk
Get out there in
I'll
front,
talk Travis
track that
on the
one
show.
up.
'Cause this isn't the Travis show. This is the Andrew Renken show. So
So I've actually got a similar story,
let's hear it.
but it has to do with cigars in Cuba.
I'd want to hear it.
You've never heard this one?
If I have, I forgot, so I want to hear it.
So
Yes.
a lot of people know I took a trip around the world on a ship back in 2001 called Semester at Sea. Our very first stop we went to was Cuba. It was the only legal way to get to Cuba. So went to Cuba, We were there for like 5 days, 6 days. About the third day we were there, we got paired up with these students from the University of Havana who were studying tourism. So we had a tour guide, kind of a tour guide in training, whatever. It was taking us around. The only legal way to buy cigars in Cuba is through government-owned tobacco shops, and they're everywhere. And they've got mandated pricing, everything. All box of Cohibas was like $3.50, something like that. Well, this tour guide says, "Hey, if you guys want to buy cigars, I've got a source for you." We're like, "Great." So he says, "Okay, I'm gonna get a cab. We're gonna go down to this other part of town. I know this guy." So we take a cab. We get to this place, and there's three of us, three Americans, a gal from Detroit, a guy from California, and myself. And we're going, and he says, "Okay, stop here," and we get out.
She was the tough one, you were the smart one, and there was a guy from California. Got it. Proceed.
He was a cheerleader for the UCLA sports program.
So he was physically fit and strong.
Yeah.
Proceed. I just had to get the visual.
So,
all right.
so we end up, he stops the cab, we get out, and we walk through this little shopping mall. And it's kind of like a outdoor courtyard, and we go through it, and then there's a door on the back, and we go through that door, and we go down this hallway, and then another door kind of opens, and we go down this other hallway, and everything there, all the housing is kind of built in behind commercial areas. So we end up at this apartment building. There's an open courtyard kind of in the middle of this little building. He knocks on the door, guy comes to the door, and they're talking in Spanish, and at the time I knew a little bit of Spanish. So I understood a little bit of what they were saying. Well, he pulls a chair out, like a metal folding chair, outside of the doorway in the hallway, and there's a drop ceiling. And he reaches up and he pulls this ceiling tile back to the side, and he reaches up above and he starts pulling out boxes of cigars. He's like, "What kind do you want?" And I'm like, Monte Cristos, Cohiba. I don't remember what the third one was. He's like, "Any box of cigars, $30, $30 US." I'm like, okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the exemptions to get back into the United States on an educational exchange program is you can bring $100 worth of Cuban goods, even including cigars. So I bought $100 worth, three boxes. I had a backpack, wrapped them up, put them in a backpack. All three of us bought 3 boxes, and we head down, and we go back and we get back into, we kind of work our way back through the mall, the house, and everything else, and we get back out, and the cab's gone. And he's like, "Okay, we'll just walk down, a block, and once we get down to this end of this block, there'll be another cab there for us to pick up." So we do. And the other thing about Cuba is every intersection of 2 streets has an armed security guard. And it's their military, and they're there, and they've got AR-15s or whatever, and there aren't, So we get to the end of the first block, and there's one, and we keep walking. We get to the end of the second block, and there's 2 of them, and they're kind of all looking at us. We get to another block down the road, and there's 3 or 4 of them, 5 of them. Finally, they stop us, and they stop us because of the cigars. They had seen something. They watched us, so they stopped us with the cigars, and they immediately arrested us. And they arrested the guy that was with us, the tour guide. So I immediately claimed all ignorance of being able to understand or speak Spanish, even though I understood exactly what the officers were saying.
Yeah.
Well,
But
they
you were
took
screwed.
us. They put us in the back of this little bitty car. I don't even know what make it was.
I thought they all drove 57 Chevys in Cuba.
There's a lot of those, but
Sorry,
then you
just
got
kidding.
the police vehicles are these like way smaller.
Did you say
than
a
Corolla.
Toyota Corona?
Uh,
Sorry. It was a Toyota Corona.
They threw us into the back of this little bitty car. They took us down, and the court was on the port of Old Havana.
Same day.
Same day. I mean,
Yeah, you're arrested and we're going to court.
30 minutes after we left the building. So we got down there, and you get into this port, and the Old Havana was built in the early 1600s, okay? And everything's just as it was then. So we enter into what we think is the jail, and there's this big iron steel door that shuts, like gate that comes down behind the vehicle. And we're like, we're screwed. And
We're screwed.
This is day 5 of a 110-day trip that I'm taking. So
Going
we
to prison.
get there. Yeah, I am ending up in jail in Cuba. So we get there, and they walk us through, and it's like the first floor is kind of an open air deal. But as they're walking us through, they walk us through this open area and then down a hallway, and they put us in this locked room. The guy the tour guide is already on trial. He's before a judge right then, and what we ultimately found out was the fine that they were going to impose against him was based off of how much he sold them to us for less than what the government shop sold them for.
Okay.
So he sold them to us for $30 a box. The fine that they, imposed on him was the difference between that and the $350 that they sold that same box for in the government shop. Now,
$350.
that's what you could buy him in the government shop for,
So his fine was $220 a box.
basically. And
$750. Got it.
that's for me. And then there's
you.
two others.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Hefty fine.
Do you know how much an average Cuban citizen makes in U.S. dollars in a year?
No.
$5.
$5 a year.
$5 a year. Now, what they didn't know was, as we were on the corner, we knew this guy was in trouble.
Mhm.
So before they stuck us in the paddy wagon, we each reached in our pockets and grabbed whatever cash we had, and we slid it to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was sitting there in court with about $350, which, how many years of salary is
Right.
that for a Cuban? But he was able to post that as bond, kind of get out and make payments. We met up with him 3 days later. We gave him the rest of the money, and we got back on the ship. And the last thing that the guard said, so there's one guy that spoke English that was a guard that came in, and he goes, we're getting ready to leave. And he brings the cigars back in, and he hands them to us. And he said, good luck getting these back into the U.S.
Did you?
They're in my office right now.
Still nice.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I went to Mexico one time.
Mexico or Cuba?
Mexico,
All right.
bass fishing, and pulled into the launch ramp and sitting in a lawn chair off to the side. There sits this little Mexican fella, and I asked the guy that I was with. I said, "What's he here for?" He said, it's kind of an option. He said, you can give him $10, or you can come in and your truck will be gone. He said, whichever you want. He said, but that's basically it. He said he is here to, take a launch fee. And I said, but there's, me being complete dumb butt. I looked at him. I'm like, well, there's no sign or anything. He said, oh, you don't have to pay him. He said, it's not mandatory, but he said, yeah, you come in. He said, we won't have any way to get back to the United States. So needless to say, I paid. I went
paid.
over. I paid. I give him. I think I gave him a 20.
It's the best $10 ever.
That's right.
God.
But so yeah, you got to be careful going in them foreign lands.
Turn it that way a little bit. We had a 4-year-old bump the camera. A little more.
James,
Nope, we're not taking questions from the crowd tonight. Go ahead.
that is,
Yeah, we're good. Thanks.
I knew it did. And also about the down.
I have never been out of country, so.
Never?
Well, I mean, I've been to Mexico, but we went across the border and
James, remark is sort of relative.
the remark.
But my first trip to San Juan,
Wait, nobody can hear you online.
that's all right.
So I have a guy that's in the crowd that said he went to San Juan.
First trip to San Juan,
Hang on.
Protectorate of the United States, you walk off an airplane and nothing, once you go down the gangway, is not Spanish only.
Nice.
You can travel throughout Europe, South America, but Puerto Rico, it's Spanish only.
Huh. All right. So you.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Where are we at next? That was it. I have legal issues in fishing on my notes.
Okay.
I thought if you want to get into that, but I don't know if we want to or not, do we? So we're not. It's just so we're all clear, and I'm not going to get in any kind of. I'm not going to. Let me back up. Let me clarify before we start. I have noticed since we've done the podcast that sometimes Dion will get engaged in a conversation. And when he doesn't like something, he'll say he doesn't like it. However, Dion is still very much within the fishing industry, and sometimes some things you just can't talk about. You won't go completely south, even though if you don't like it, just don't go there because it's not worth the chance that maybe down the road could be a contract for your boys, might be some kind of a deal. You don't want to burn that bridge. But
I really don't know where he's headed with this at all.
all three of us probably are not big fans of the MDC. So that being said, we were back a few weeks ago and we were talking about a friend of ours that we thought might get in trouble for spoonbill fishing. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Happened to have the attorney on the show tonight that represented him. So, and we never mentioned any names during the show, but we talked about that. But he got off because and you don't do criminal work, do you?
Occasionally.
If it's the right
Selective.
thing.
Selective.
Right. When the MDC said, "Hey, we got this," he said, "I'll take that."
He asked if I'd help him, and as I looked into it, yeah, I'd help him. So
Yeah.
they dismissed all charges against him.
But I gotta share something we talked about, and I'm not going to go out at the end, but there was another party that had similar charges. They were from out of state. They pled guilty and paid. How much is a fine typically for something like that? And we're talking about possession of spoonbill eggs is what the issue is. Less than 2 ounces, I believe.
I don't remember the quantity.
It was
but
small.
there were. It was a related case to that one, but
Right.
there were 4 or 5 guys that got issued tickets, fishing violation tickets that they lived out of state. Maximum fines $500. So they just paid the $500 and pled guilty and didn't want to come back for court or anything like that. Well, fast forward a year later, when you're found guilty of a game violation in Missouri, Missouri reciprocates that with other states. So they pulled their New York license. They pulled their offshore license. They pulled everything for the next 5 years.
5 years. They pled guilty and thought they were going to pay a fine, not realizing they're going to lose their license. They're
Everywhere.
offshore, everywhere,
Oh.
for a period of 5 years.
And
Now,
these guys were competitive. I mean, they did a lot of offshore
Mhm.
game fishing and tournament fishing and stuff like that offshore. So, these guys spent thousands and thousands of dollars on
5
it.
years.
5 years,
5-year
right?
denial.
Holy crap.
So here's my question, because obviously I guess what I'm asking from a legal standpoint, once you plead guilty to a charge and you pay the fine, it's done, right?
Damn near.
I mean, are they going to have any? Because you had mentioned they kind of wanted to go back and maybe revisit it again, like, hey, we didn't know this was going to be the outcome, and we need to fix this.
Yeah. It's hard.
That's an appeal, right?
Well,
Or can you even appeal when you plead guilty?
when you plead guilty, no.
It's kind of an
there's
interesting
nothing
one,
to
right?
appeal there.
Oh. Which is why, I guess, at the end of the day, the moral of the story is, and I guess as an attorney, and you don't speak, deny, always until the very end.
Don't admit until you're told to.
That's right, by your attorney.
I started to say that's one where I think I would definitely have consulted with my attorney a little
But you
closer.
you might want to do a little more research before you plead to a case if you know what the actual penalties are, right?
Now, your small little, fishing without a license, some of those are not that way, but some of the more serious game violations are.
That's kind of up there in the poaching thing, right?
It is
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this
It's pretty interesting, actually.
spoonbill like maybe a federal deal or something?
What's a dinosaur? I don't know.
now,
Yeah,
if it
but
comes
they're
out of
not-
federal waters
A
in some
sturgeon is
way.
federally protected, but a spoonbill is not.
Huh.
And and this kind of, I guess I get to be the bad guy today. If the MDC didn't raise them, put them in the water, and grow them up for them to harvest, they wouldn't be here.
That's right.
So who gives a crap what they do with the eggs, if they eat them or not, or sell them or whatever?
And that wasn't what the issue was. The
Yeah.
issue was where they were harvested.
Right. Versus, yeah. Right.
That was 30-foot
We talked.
difference.
Yeah, we talked to the guy, one of the fishing guides that was there on that, and he said that they cleaned them on the dock. Correct?
It was a guide.
But then he transported them to the house.
He cleaned the fish, put them in a bowl,
Yep.
and carried it up to the house, which was a distance of less than 50 feet.
And then gave them to the people who caught the fish. It was the guide.
Along with the
Yeah.
fish. I mean,
Right.
it was he cleaned
The
the whole
meat and
fish.
eggs.
The meat and the eggs. He
But that was
carried them both up.
That was the transportation issue.
And as soon as he
Yeah,
left,
right?
as soon as he left that, well, and according to the officer, the minute he didn't throw the eggs immediately into the lake when he cleaned it, that's when the violation occurred. If he cleaned it, the eggs were there, and he immediately threw them in the water, they claimed they could not have issued him the ticket.
No harm, no foul, because they're not there.
No.
Because the law says you must dispose of them in the adjacent bank, right?
You cannot possess them while on the waters of Lake of the Ozarks. That's possessing them.
So
If you possess them on the land, you can do that, but you cannot possess them over the water. So if you walk to the end of the ramp and you cleaned them on the shoreline, you're fine. But if you clean them at the fish cleaning station on the dock of the house, the VRBO that these guys rented, that's against the law.
now they
Now-
always go ahead.
The other transportation issue with that is once they're outside that fish, they can never leave that property.
You got to consume them.
You have to consume them on the property in which they were cleaned.
Wow.
Wow.
Are you getting all that? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You
I'm not doing
can't
that.
you can't clean them and take them to your neighbor's house. That's transportation, according to MDC.
Right. Do you agree with that assessment?
Absolutely not.
I'm just saying. It's
Do
just-
I agree?
I don't
No.
think that's what the intent of the regulation was. I think the regulation was intended to stop people from collecting eggs like in a boat, hiring a
Right.
guide, going out, the guide
Extracting
catches the
eggs,
fish, extract the eggs, throw
throwing
the
the fish
carcass
back
in the
in,
water,
and then
you come back to shore with just eggs.
Right. Which
That's
was
what
a
the
big, which was a
regulation
big
was.
thing 20 years ago.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of people up the river that were killing
Yeah.
fish, taking eggs. Yeah.
Now, I can't tell you, in that case, I consulted with at least 7 other guides,
Fishing guides.
spoonbill guides,
Okay.
not just fishing guides.
Doing your research.
How many of them knew of that regulation? That regulation
Yep.
changed, and I believe it was 2002. It was a regulation that was adopted in 2002. I think it took effect either that August or January of 2023. Only one other guide knew of that regulation.
And one did know.
One did know.
That's impressive.
Well,
I mean, seriously.
you know,
Or is it the one that was in trouble?
15%. I mean, that's pretty good, effective communicating new regulations to the public, I think.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
get me started.
Change the speed limit and tell 15% of the people that you changed it.
Yeah.
You know, that works.
Well, you remember the whole crawdad thing,
Oh, yeah.
which is that's still out there, but it's not in any book.
Mhm.
You know, it's illegal for us to sell, our
Sell,
store
yeah.
to sell. There's 15 species of crawdads. They've deemed 14 of them invasive, and you can face a fine if you possess them. Crawdads, a food source of the lake. But you can have one. But if you don't have that one, you can get fined. So they just don't mess with it anymore. But
So
you can,
here's the problem.
you can trap them, catch them, transport them, do whatever you want to as an individual. Just can't sell them. Makes sense? You can use it for bait. You can. Yep. You can transport them. You can infiltrate that invasive species in another body of water. They don't care. Just can't sell them.
So that same situation there with the spoonbill, the ticket that he was cited with, he was cited for violation of a gaming regulation.
That was the ticket.
That was the ticket.
The MDC makes up tickets,
Well, no, violating a gaming regulation.
but they don't say which one.
Don't say which one. It took me 45 minutes to dig through all of the regulations for MDC to find the spoonbill regulation.
Mm-hmm.
They don't publicize that. That's the problem.
Right. Anyway. Yeah.
Off my soapbox.
No, it's fine. I mean,
And
we can keep going.
And when they start spoonbill season, it's basically a free-for-all.
Right.
You
There's
know,
minimal regulation on it.
Yeah.
Because, see, if you want to get into the whole forward basin sonar argument, you know,
Yeah.
it's really easy to use that and get one. But, you know, they put in the book, and into the regulations book, that you must have a sweeping, grabbing motion to facilitate your snagging. But you're not doing that on a forward basin sonar. Not at all. Which, that segues in. Yeah, so it gets me into the next phase of it. And this, you're gonna hate this part, but I found it really fascinating.
Me?
Yeah, because you don't like the four-face sonar talk and all this crap. And we've always said here at Real Unfiltered Talk, we're not in it for the money. God knows. Thank you, Lloyd at Hiawatha Beach, for giving us
That's right.
our monthly check to keep our streaming service going. That's all we need. We're good. Now, if you guys want to give us stupid money, we'll take it, and we'll talk about you on the air. But you probably not get your return on your investment very well, because sometimes you forget. But I've been watching podcasters this week, a lot of them, for reasons I can't explain. Because some of the content was kind of getting interesting. We've all talked about the rule changes and all this stuff, but one podcaster, one content creator came out last week and said, we have a problem. We, all the YouTube channel creators, have this big problem. You ready? AI is going to put us all out of business because we're not going to be able to make any money, which, for the record, Real Unfiltered Talk has never been monetized a penny from the ad revenue because our 45 fans don't really get us into that point where we're at the million people that we're getting checks. But there are some people out there that make their entire living doing fishing videos.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm just going to say that, and I'm sorry if the content creator's watching the show tonight, because I'm going to tell you right now, you're dumb. Because he made this video saying, listen, we get monetized by talking about fishing. But YouTube and Facebook and all these high-tech people are going to start using AI to take our data, compile it, and do their own fishing videos made with a made-up AI-created person. So they take that data and then, you can't, and basically was saying, we're all going to go out of business and we can't talk about fishing anymore. And I thought, well, this is dumb, because there are things that AI cannot do. And then Andrew got into it, and we're going to get into that, and baked my noodle a whole bunch more with AI. But I thought to myself, okay, so let's dumb this way, way down, okay? Everybody out there, fishing guides, newspaper articles, podcasts, content creators, we all go on the internet and say, today the crappie are biting in 10 to 12 feet of water in a brush pile using a blue and white jig at the 45-mile marker, Lake of the Ozarks.
With a bobber.
With a weighted bobber
Yeah.
in the brush. Okay?
Yeah.
And you put that out there. And then AI takes all these reports and they generate the content. So if you go to AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, any of these companies, and say, how do I catch a crappie between the 40 and the 60-mile mark, it's going to say the rule of average is on a bobber and 12 feet on a brush pile, da-da-da. And I thought, wow, you could get it. You could dial it down really close to say, hey, I want to know specific main lake points. It'll go and look for brush piles, look for people that have posted, I sunk a brush pile on social media here, and I caught a fish off this point. And they'll say, go to this spot, throw this bait, catch a fish. And I'm like, it's impressive. And I get what he's saying. But there are things that AI cannot predict. And then I'll let you get to your part in a minute. Do you know what those things are?
What's that?
Somebody got there first. Right? If the information's out there for the entire world to see, it's going to tell everybody the same thing. Maybe, because they, as I found out later, Andrew said, they cater it to you very positively. They'll say whatever you want to hear. So, and sometimes it's not even true, which we'll get to. But, if you read a fishing report that says the 45-mile marker specifically, that's a 1 mile piece of a river. And if anybody doesn't look at a topographical map, it's 1 mile of a lake or river section. If you get everybody that reads the newspaper or the internet or your content creators or social media, they're all going to hit that 1 mile section, and they're going to fish it out. So if you get there the next day, the odds are it could be fished out. Or somebody, I know some guys really good at it, go out and find those brush piles, put a hook on it, and drag it 50 feet. That happens too.
Yes.
And you're smiling because you've done it.
Yes, I have.
We've all done it. Because the thing is, once you put in a brush pile in Lake of the Ozarks, or pretty much most lakes in the country, it becomes public domain. It's everybody's stuff. But it doesn't mean you can't relocate it. And it's something that people don't pay attention to a lot. It's these are like Christmas gifts I'm giving this week. Get you a nice little grappling hook and a long rope, hook it to the back of your boat, and move it. If you find somebody else's brush pile that's really good and they're kicking your ass in a bass tournament, relocate it. they're going to be really mad, but they won't beat you next week. Right?
Yep.
I'm just saying, those are called gaining a competitive advantage.
Well, it's kind of like that unsportsmanlike guy that got called out for whooshing off a bed,
Yeah.
running the fish off a bed.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I've done that a million times in my life.
Trolling motor?
Yeah, if I'm
big
not going
motor.
to catch it, neither's anybody else.
Yeah, shoot them off. Run them
That's right.
away. Once you tried it, you do it, right? That's
The brush pile deal, I'll have to give that to Dirk Slater. He showed me that.
moving
You
them.
know, just move it.
Yeah.
You know,
And you don't have to move it far.
no,
If it's
'cause the
producing
fish,
good fish,
the fish will actually follow along with it. As
That's
you're
right.
moving it. You
You ever
just
heard that
gotta
one?
move it a little bit.
No, I've
see?
not.
So when you're crappieing, same rule applies.
So how do you
Jack-
do that when it's tied to the dock?
Cut it.
Don't own a knife? Come on,
Yeah.
dude. Knife, bolt cutters, whatever it takes.
Like I said,
You get those ones suspended
They-
under the docks,
They may be mad. Okay, so
Moving the whole dock.
no, hold it. Let's discuss this for a moment, okay? Do you think legally a brush pile attached to a dock is actually part of that property?
Is it a fixture?
It's not. It's not permanently attached. It's temporarily attached.
Mine is.
How is it permanently? How is a brush pile permanently attached when it decays and rots and?
Mine's a piece of pipe hanging from my purlin straight down into.
Well, that's just insane.
have everybody-
Insanity, yeah.
Where
If
are you at
see
on
a
the
big
link?
giant pipe sticking down in somebody's dock, odds are they put some permanent structure on it.
I think their docks are.
But it's tied by cable or a rope, right?
I think those three guys right there, their docks are methodological anyway, because
Right.
I, I still haven't found them.
So in your,
I can't find their damn dock.
Let's make. Hey, let's make full.
You're gonna have to.
Let's make full circle. Let's all gather back in. Do you think it would be considered attached property? And if it is, I'm going to say don't remove it from the dock.
I would not encourage you to remove something that's been
Okay, so he's encouraging not
secured to a
to.
dock.
What
Is
I'm
it-
saying is,
what-
if it's dark and
Whose-
you're night
whose
fishing for
dock?
bass, cut it.
Yeah.
Move it.
Yeah,
Okay.
whose
Is it
dock
a
is it?
public
Yeah, it depends on whose
dock or-
dock. That could be too. If
Question is, do you feel lucky?
if the guy's a butthole,
right.
do it. You know, if here's one. If you go down there and the guy says, "Get away from my dock, you can't fish here," that's the one I would cut and move. Definitely.
That's the reason why I have a license.
And then I'd be calling Andrew for the second time with handcuffs behind my back, going, "Yeah, I screwed up again."
We don't want to talk about the first time.
I cut. No, we don't. Yes, you have represented me before. So back in the days when I wasn't so smart. So yeah.
That's your problem. You need to know where our docks are.
So anyway,
Yeah.
yes, you can relocate brush, but Andrew says to me before the show, AI hallucinates, right? You ever heard that one? Have you heard it?
AI
The-
what?
Hallucinates. You don't use AI, do you?
No.
Okay, so basically, computer tells you all. It's just to dumb it way down, because I like to do that because our viewers are probably
As slow
dumb
as
like me. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
all
slow
slow.
as me.
AI is a computer that basically takes all the information on the computers and, like this, gives you all the information that they can find. How do I fix my toilet that's leaking? Here, maybe you should try this. I can't. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting the dingleberry off my hair. What do I use? It'll say, use this oil. It's like really quick. Do you like that one?
No.
No, I don't just-
The visual was too much.
No.
And it'll say, would you like me to give you a diagram? It's like, yes, and it'll do it. So, yeah. But Andrew says, occasionally it'll hallucinate. Expand.
So, the legal world's been dealing with AI in different capacities for several years now. And there are legal, you get ChatGPT, you get all those that are more general knowledge-based sources. They pull from a lot of public domain information Google's gathered, whatever. In the legal world, we've got specific AI-generated engines that are created by companies that monitor court cases and different rules and different regulations, all kinds of stuff. So you can ask an AI engine that is a legal database, give me the case that says this. Give me the case that says that. Well, AI in general, specifically ChatGPT, some of those original ones, were formulated to give you a positive response to the question asked. It doesn't come back and say, sorry, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It says you might try this. You can do this. Whether that's true or not, it gives you a response that's in a positive fashion. The same thing kind of plays true in the legal sense. And now attorneys are using these legal AI sources to help them draft briefs that support certain motions. And they go out and they cite cases, and you can look in California, you can look in New York, there are attorneys getting disbarred all over the place for using AI and not fact-checking those sites that those cases are there. I mean,
because they're giving cases that don't exist.
they're citing
making
cases
them up.
and text out of opinions that
That's
do
right.
not legally. I mean, they don't exist. The site's fabricated, the case is fabricated, and
It's giving you an example, right?
it's saying here's what you want. Here it is.
Yeah, here it is.
Now, is it going to do the same thing with fishing?
Absolutely.
You know, is it going to pull data from Truman Lake and tell you that it's really on Lake of the Ozarks?
Right. But
Something
see,
from-
But you said earlier too, it might find something that's parallel in Eastern Asia or in Cuba or in Antarctica. If it fits the mold, it's going to give you the information and generate an average. Exactly. It's So it's not going to be no matter. So to my friends who are podcast saying this is going to be their demise, I think they're very wrong. I think you need to listen to those and make sure that the person talking is not. And that's the best part about our show. Their AI is never going to be able to duplicate us because there's too many errors in the system. So they just can't do it. So but I find that very fascinating that they would think that, oh my gosh, this is going to take over, but it's still in its infancy and it's not accurate. And it's nice to hear from other avenues outside of the sporting goods industry that it's not a good thing. It's a good thing, like I said, on a 101 on how to wipe your rear, but it's not good on finding case files or finding fish.
It can be a tremendous tool.
I use it all the time,
But
so
you
can
have
Dion.
to.
He can be a tremendous tool.
You have to validate that what
More than
it's
one
saying,
way.
especially if you're representing to a court. This is a valid on case point, and you've never checked it. You've never and you're making that representation to the court. That's where people are losing their licenses. Is saying.
So see, that's gonna catch kids in college at some point too, whenever they're writing papers and theses based on references that don't exist.
Oh yeah.
So I hope people are watching this and they're expecting a fishing show and they're getting an education on what you should and shouldn't do as somebody that needs to learn and do it the right way.
AI is a tremendous tool if it's used the right way.
I love it. I really do. I can find
How to remove a dingleberry from your.
Well, no. When Dad was on the
Right
show,
oil.
when Dad was on the show, he was talking about Orca, which is the National Reel Collectors Company, National Reel Collectors Group, and he said, they used to send photocopies, scans, and emails of schematics, and typically just hypothetically, the 3 million members that they have, they would do like 100,000 schematics a year. So people figure out how to fix their old antique reels. It went up like 70% using AI because it can search and find the schematics, the patents, all the original stuff, and you just get it instantly. It's a really cool tool, like you said. But not where the fish reside. Where they live is what we like to say.
What I've seen a little bit here locally with AI, there's a couple of Facebook groups that do vintage resorts and stuff from around the lake from years past. And I think a lot of that data that they're pulling up and they're sticking out there with old maps of resorts and old advertising materials and stuff
generated?
is AI generated.
You think?
I think so.
Interesting. I'll have to look at some of those. 'Cause I see them every once in a while, but I never thought about that. We went ring shopping today, just so you know.
Oh,
Shut up!
yay.
No.
Yay.
I'm making it.
It's
I'm
almost
making,
2026.
I'm making her buy her own Christmas present and her own engagement ring.
There
So,
you go.
do you know? My God, dang! Do you know diamonds versus lab created? Lab created diamonds are like 1/10 the price, but they're still ridiculous.
I heard a statistic today, for the first time in almost 12 years, an ounce of silver today is worth more than a barrel of oil.
Really, 1
Oh
ounce
my
of silver.
gosh.
Are we gonna say we need to buy silver now? Yes.
Silver ring, yes you
Yeah,
do.
so get a silver ring, not a gold ring. And if I can afford it, damn. It's crazy.
I didn't tell you what gold prices are, but
Well, they're out. I watched Gold Rush. That's all good. I don't even know where I was. Oh, so we were coming back. Yeah, I got it. We were coming back. We were coming back home. We were at it. I had to go meet Frank, pick up some sausage.
It's a good thing your girl's not even in the room.
No, she was there. I'm not making this up. So we were on the way back, and I said, I haven't been the most best guy in the world my entire life. We've all had we got our baggage, right? But AI can make you look 10 times worse. Seriously. I mean,
or better.
They could, or better. Yeah, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint it's going to be worse for me. But if you really want to jack with somebody, you can take their voiceover, you can create new voices, you can create text messages, phone call conversations, videos.
You know what I've heard twice this year?
No.
Obituaries are written by AI.
Wow. But I mean,
Yikes.
and let me rephrase, I'm definitely not worried, but if you really want to jack with somebody, AI can be a tool to really make somebody miserable, Really miserable.
And having kids right now, 13 and 9,
Yeah.
the stuff they put out on social media and what they put out, it's there for their lifetime.
Right.
It will never
How
leave.
old?
13 and 9.
I know.
my God.
Andrew's getting old, isn't he?
Yeah. You haven't seen Tucker, have you?
Yeah.
He's taller than I am,
Yes.
and yeah.
And you know what? I was thinking today, you are one of 2 attorneys left in our entire county. I think there's 2.
Practicing that live in Morgan County, yes.
Yes, 2 left, right?
Mhm.
Because one just retired, and then another kid bought his practice.
Correct.
Correct.
Him and
So-
I, that's it.
That's it. 2 attorneys in our entire county. Now that doesn't mean I thought about it. Doesn't mean you can't go outside the county, but if you want to be in good with the judge, you kind of want an in-house guy. All right.
We call that wood shedding.
Wood shedding. That's
we
the
go.
term. I didn't know if you're going to go there or not. That isn't
Yeah.
always the case. You don't do that stuff.
Absolutely not.
Oh, no. Whew. Mercy. Hey, you guys want to hear a story? It was out in the news today, but I actually, so I sit on our local fire board, okay? And normally you can't disclose things that happen that you hear on the radio, but I get access to the radio, so I never turn it on. And last night, this is actually a fishing story, so tune in here, Dion. It's good stuff. Last night, it was about 8-ish, I guess,
Started about 6:45.
the 90-year-old guy.
Yep.
Hey,
Okay, I turned on about 7-ish, and there was a... You good?
I'm gonna have him get me a drink.
Okay. Drink. Need a soda. Sugar.
Yes.
Chop, chop.
Please.
There was a guy, 90-some years old, who disappeared in his flat-bottom boat on Lake of the Ozarks in the Gravois Arm. And he's gone. And typically, do you need like caffeinated sugar or like Sprite?
Just a regular Sprite.
Coke.
Yes.
Regular.
All right. That's
Thank
what you're
you.
drinking there. Anyway, maybe I can get
Yes.
him tuned in here.
That's perfect.
So, I'm listening to the chatter on the radio, and this is automatically a recovery episode. I mean, the guy's 90, it's getting dark, and he's nowhere to be found. He doesn't go any further than a few miles either way. He always wears his life jacket, and he is gone. Can't find him. So,
Supposed to be back at a certain time and
Wasn't- and did
didn't
not
make
return.
the return time.
kind of a bad deal, right? So, I tuned in and out a few times and went to sleep, and hey, cookie time.
Yeah.
I woke up and they were all clearing out. And I thought, I don't know if they found him or not. Now, obviously, it couldn't have been good. But this morning, I talked to Assistant Chief, and they found him alive and well. And yeah, look, he like sat back in this. But he had broken down upstream, and he drifted, which he thought he was drifting back to his house, but he was on the other side of the lake.
His main motor died, and
Yep.
his trolling motor couldn't keep up.
Right. And he did not have a cell phone. And he was in his 90s. So he goes into a dock and he ties it off, and there's nobody home, and he has to walk like a half a mile to find somebody that's down here at the lake that's at home. And by the time he makes the phone call, let everybody know he's okay. The full dispatch has been out there in the water finding him.
Highway
dive teams.
Patrol had a helicopter flying.
Yeah, they had a helicopter, had highway patrol. Yeah, that was going on. And The good part of the story is they all turned out good, and that's rare here at the lake. It really is. So, kudos to everybody that.
Moral of the story: have your cell phone.
I guess. Australia is like getting rid of social media. Did you hear that? For kids under 16.
Yeah.
Look at me.
So did Florida.
Did it work? Anyway, but I thought that was a cool story. You know, it's just
Yeah.
you never hear a good story, but they found him one, so that's cool.
Hey, my son-in-law in New Jersey said,
Wait, long story, short story. Long story or short story? Go ahead. Your son-in-law where?
in New Jersey,
Yeah.
watching the podcast.
Uh-huh.
they loved it tonight.
Your son-in-law?
Blaine Higgins.
Blaine Higgins from Jersey says he really loved the show tonight. It's because we have smart people on tonight.
Is he
That's
one that
why.
came here spoonbill fishing?
If we keep Ed,
Okay.
if we keep Ed from talking, it's a great show. But when Ed starts talking, then here we go. I got an iron pipe, hold my brush, it's permanent fixture, blah 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 blah. We need to and a cube of butter. Did you hear that? All that stuff coming from the crowd, crazy stuff. So yeah, it's 7:05.
you got more content?
It's been an hour.
I've got a story.
All right, we'll have a story. We'll do a shameless plug. We'll close it out.
So, Ed and I fished together.
We could have a part 2. You know.
Part 2. Well,
Not this week, but
We'll,
we can
we'll
always-
end this with part 1.
All right. So
one of our favorite. Ed and I fished together for years.
I would say my dad and Ed were fishing partners in crappie masters.
Andrew. Yeah.
Andrew, what'd I
Yeah.
say?
Ed.
Ed,
That-
my
that
dad,
might be your
Ed,
dad.
and Ed.
So Ed and I fished together. Did well. We had a lot of fun. One year, Crappie Masters was in town.
Hey, you were with
late
him when you
April.
guys got disqualified, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, he
Maybe.
was the other guy.
Maybe.
He told that story.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
I don't.
He's been on the show.
You remember that you don't admit anything statement until
Yeah.
told to? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We can go back and find it. Go ahead.
Okay, so we were fishing Crappie Masters. We sucked. It was a bad weekend. We might want to get Dion back in
You're
the
all right.
picture.
Go ahead.
So we were fishing, fish Crappie Masters Friday and Saturday tournament. Sucked it up. We did get big fish that weekend.
Try to camera that way. Go ahead. Keep talking. You're good.
Turn it back. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
So we sucked
Perfect.
it up. What always followed the Crappie Masters tournament in the spring? There's another tournament on Sunday. You remember that? Marty's?
The Marty's tournament. Remember
The
Marty's
Marty's
Grill?
tournament, yeah.
Yep. Yep. I do remember
Marty's
that.
always had a Sunday tournament immediately following Crappie Masters.
Yep.
So because we sucked during Crappie Masters, we decided we were going to try something completely different. You remember that weekend?
I do remember that weekend. I don't want to remember that weekend, but I do remember.
You do remember that weekend. So,
Yep.
So Ed and I decided we'd fished up the lake
I was
for
fishing
Crappie
with
Masters.
Travis.
You were?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
fishing in Mill Creek.
It would be in.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
we decided we were going to completely flip sides of the lake to fish for Marty's. So we said, what the heck, we're going to start the day out in the back of Mill Creek. So we did. And between Friday and Sunday morning, the lake had come up about a foot and a half. So we get in the back of Mill Creek, and we're sitting there and we're fishing. And we get up between these two docks, and it's about a foot and a half, 2 foot of water. And we could just see these black fish just flying everywhere along the bank. I mean, and they were hauling, and we couldn't figure out what in the world it was. So we pitched some jigs up to them, and wham, 14, 15-inch crappie.
Oh.
Pulled it in.
Now, stop. Have you ever seen when those fish are out spawning, pre-spawning, whatever, up on the bank, like literally in a feeding frenzy of crappie?
No.
Me either.
That's why I didn't know what he was talking about for sure.
Proceed.
So in the next hour, your dad and I sat there, and we whacked the shit out of those fish.
That was like 8:30 in the morning, right?
7:30 in the morning.
7:30 in the morning. Okay.
7:30 in the morning.
15 fish.
15 fish
15
tournament.
fish limit.
So we
Oh.
they filleted them and had a big fish fry afterwards. So they wanted you to weigh in 15 fish. So we started at 7:30. By 8:30, we were culling the live well, and we were keeping nothing less than 15 inches.
Correct.
And we were throwing back lots of fish.
Yep.
And we kept catching them, and we kept catching them for the next hour. And we didn't cover more than about 200 feet of this bank. And everything was less than 2 foot of water.
I will show you the spot. I go there regularly from here on out.
So, now,
Maybe.
why those fish were there, we could not figure it out. But we called Jamie and Travis
Do you
at
remember?
about...
Sorry.
Go
Do you
ahead.
remember whenever we were railing on Philippines,
Uh-huh.
and he called and said, "Hey, you guys catch any?" We said a few. Remember when we were down in Stockton?
Yeah.
We told that story multiple times, even with Phillips on the show. So they give that, "Hey, you catching any?" And they've got 19, 20 pounds.
22.
22
gosh.
pounds in the boat.
20
22 pounds of crappie and 15 in the boat. And like, "Hey, you catching any?" We're
Yeah.
like, 8. And we're like 8 pounds. We're like, "Yeah, that's kind of rough." They're like, "No, we got like 22 pounds." I'm like, "Get the
You don't remember
you
the
are
first question,
full
do
of happy
you?
horse shit." Go ahead.
The first question is, where do you guys want to go for lunch?
Yeah, that's what they said. We're done fishing for the day. We're gonna go have lunch. And we're like, these guys are full of shit. This is like the biggest crap I've ever seen in my life.
So,
So-
hands down, we ended up winning the tournament by like 3 pounds. It was best crappie day ever I've
Mhm.
ever had. You're probably one of the best your dad's ever had.
Yep.
But we never put together what was happening that day until we talked to Dion. You actually told us what they were doing on that bank.
Let's hear it because he doesn't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He
So
made it up.
that day, that entire bank, because that water had come up and that night before, was full of zebra mussels.
Oh, yep.
And that water had covered those mussels that had been on the bank, and the meat out of those mussels was coming up.
Yep.
And that's what those fish were feeding on. And unless you had ever told us that
Yep.
day, and that was when we had the big zebra mussel craze going on here at the lake.
I had a guy show me that one time, and I'm like, holy crap! It's I would have never believed it, but yep.
And to this day, if I ever see a bed of zebra mussels, I go back in the spring and I try to fish that spot
Yep.
whenever the water comes up.
And they're not there anymore, are they?
No.
That's because I beat you to it.
AI, dang it.
That's right. All right, we did it in. I hope you come back again sometime.
Appreciate
'Cause
it.
we can do the whole tournament because we got some good stories.
Yeah.
I mean, really good stories. But
Sending
thanks
your
for
dad
coming
through
on.
the hedge tree.
Shameless plugs. You don't have any tonight, do you?
Nope.
All right, so I want to thank Lloyd and June at Hiawatha Beach Resort, as always, for taking care of us financially and everything else. And on the shameless plug side, if you're ever here at Lake of the Ozarks, and I think anywhere in Missouri, right? You practice in the state of Missouri, right?
Yeah.
Check out Renken Law Firm. You can find them online at www.renkenlaw.com.
RenkenLawFirm.com.
RenkenLawFirm.com. You do specialize in estates and trust, mostly.
I do.
Really good. And the best thing about it, the best thing he told me once was, he said to me, never take a case that you're going to lose. So if he'll take your case, it's pretty good odds you're going to be all right. I'm just kidding. Anyway,
Way to set
check
the
him out.
stage.
Excellent attorney. He's taken care of us and our family for, 20 plus years. So we appreciate everything. And good show. It was good stuff. I hope somebody learned something tonight. And I hope you'll find out that's not AI and some of it still is not true. But anyway, you got anything else?
That's it. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. From all of us here at Real Unfiltered Talk, I want to thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe us on YouTube, and we'll see you next week, same time, Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Missouri's not the only